When the superintendent or designee continues with eTPES setup, you'll notice a section called Implementation. All districts are now required to implement teacher and principal evaluations. A district will also have to enter their decision regarding the use of forms to be used in eTPES. There are three options. Option 1 would be to use only the OTES or OPES forms. Option 2 would be to use a combination of electronic forms and local forms. These local forms would only be uploaded as PDF attachments. A third option would be where a district would manually enter performance ratings, even though they would be using the same processes for OTES and OPES. And then the district would also enter all student growth measure data in order to calculate a final summative rating. The district may use a template to import this information. For more information regarding which forms are required under each option, please see the Help screen in eTPES. The superintendent or designee will also have to enter the frequency of evaluation or interval of evaluation for teachers who have received an accomplished or skill rating the previous school year. For teachers who received an accomplished rating the previous year, those teachers might be receiving a full evaluation, or the district might choose to evaluate that accomplished teacher every 2 years. In order for this to occur, the board must have an approved policy and collective bargaining agreement in place before May 10, 2014. Or a third option for evaluating accomplished teachers would be to evaluate the accomplished teacher once every 3 years. The district will also be entering their decision regarding how frequently they will be evaluating teachers who've earned a skilled rating the previous year. The teacher who earned that skill rating might be evaluated fully the current school year, or might be evaluated every 2 years. In order for a teacher to be evaluated less frequently, the teacher's student growth measure rating must remain at average or higher. Student growth measures are calculated on a 5-point scale, so when determining if the teacher's student growth measure is average or above, we mean that the score on the student growth rating is average, above average, or most effective on the combined scores eTPES calculation. When placing a teacher on a less frequent evaluation because of an earned, accomplished, or skilled rating from the previous school year, please remember that any teacher who does not have any type of student growth measure for that school year is not eligible for the less frequent evaluation cycle and must be fully evaluated. If a district determines that it will evaluate accomplished teachers every 3 years and skilled teachers every 2 years, the teachers would complete a professional growth or improvement plan, would be observed at least once, and will have at least one conference with the evaluator, and will complete student growth measures. This applies only to the 3-year accomplished and the 2-year skilled intervals of evaluation. If the district had a board policy and a collective bargaining agreement in place prior to May 10, 2014, and those are still operational, and those stated that they would evaluate accomplished teachers every other year, then there are no requirements for the accomplished teacher except completing a professional growth or improvement plan. However, one of two options will need to be completed for these districts in eTPES regarding student growth measures as they apply to principal evaluation. If the district would like the teacher's student growth measure data included in the principal student growth measure averages, the principal must enter the data and verify the teacher's student growth measures by entering his or her PIN on the student growth worksheet. If the district does not want to include the teacher's student growth measures in the principal's averages for student growth measures, then the principal needs to go to the Exemption tab on the worksheet and select Not Required Due to Board Policy, and then verify by entering his or her PIN. More information will be given on this when student growth measure training occurs later this school year. On the Educator Evaluation page, you will notice near the top of the page icons where you would click to change the frequency of evaluation of teachers. This will take you to another page where the evaluation interval can be changed if needed. This screen shows that a district has made a choice to evaluate some teachers less frequently. From this screen, the user will only see the teachers that are eligible to have their rating carried forward. By clicking on this link, the user can change to fully evaluate the teacher instead of carrying the rating forward. Of course, changing this would require that the district has a rationale for that change, but it is not necessary to enter the rationale in eTPES. After the user clicks on Edit the Evaluation Interval, this screen would appear. This screen shows the names of teachers that can be changed to a full evaluation, and changes can be made here. Please note that this year in eTPES, there will be a screen with additional columns to show the last full evaluation year, prior student growth measure ratings, and the next default full evaluation year as determined by eTPES. Before the district can enter any student growth information, the district will need to enter the decision regarding the evaluation framework to be used. There will be 3 choices this school year. The framework decision will be one of 3, either the 50-50 or original model, the alternative framework that was changed as a result of House Bill 64, which includes 50% of the evaluation from performance measures, 35% from student growth measures, and 15% from an alternative component, or the alternative framework that was used last year that has a sliding scale. This requirement only applies to teacher evaluation. All principal evaluation will fall under the 50-50 original framework. More details follow. The superintendent or designee will enter the framework choice to be used for teacher evaluation. The first choice is to use the original framework or the 50-50 model. This means that 50% of the evaluation is based upon the performance measures, and 50% of the evaluation for teachers is based upon student growth measures. The second choice is to use the alternative framework that was described in House Bill 64. In this case, 50% of the evaluation would be based upon performance measures, 35% would be based upon student growth measures, and 15% would be based upon an alternative component. A third choice is available only to those districts who selected the alternative framework or sliding scale framework last year. This prior alternative framework consists of the alternative components, but then equal parts performance measures and student growth measures in the evaluation. This graphic depicts the original teacher evaluation model or framework, the model that was used in previous school years. As you can see, the middle circle represents that the evaluation is comprised of 50% performance on the standards and 50% student growth measures. The district or community school may choose to use this model for the school year. This is a district decision that is entered by the superintendent or designee, and the model chosen will be used by the entire district or school. This graphic depicts the alternative teacher evaluation model that has come about as a result of House Bill 64. As you can see, this represents that the evaluation is comprised of 50% performance on the standards, 35% student growth measures, and the remaining 15% is a choice from student surveys, portfolios, teacher self-evaluation, peer review evaluation, or a district-developed component. Your district or community school may choose to use this model this year. This is a district decision, and the model chosen will be used by the entire district, although the alternative component does not have to be a district-wide decision. The component will be chosen for teachers on an individual basis. For principal evaluation, all evaluations will follow the original framework of 50% based upon performance measures and 50% based upon student growth measures.